Hello and welcome to this unit. I'm Dr. Shyaonti Talwar, and in this unit, we will be looking at Allen Tate's concept of poetic tension. So let us look at the man Allen Tate and his contribution to criticism. Allen Tate, from the year 1899 to 1979, was an American poet, essayist, social commentator, and he even held the office of Poet Laureate from 1943 to 1944. He was a poet in residence at Princeton University from the years 1939 to 1942, during which he founded the university's creative writing program. He was also appointed to the first rotating chair of poetry at the Library of Congress, where he established the Associate Fellows in American Letters. And he, in fact, took up a very important and landmark initiative of 16th and of converting or of making recordings of 16th and 17th century English lyrics and modern American poetry, from Emily Dickinson to Carl Shapiro for books for the blind. So that is his contribution to the literary world. And now let us understand what Allen Tate means by tension in poetry. Now, according to Tate, tension is the life, the very nervous center of a poem. A poem is lifeless without tension. Now, what does tension mean? Even in common parlance, in universal language, tension would refer to a balance maintained in an artistic work between opposing forces or elements. So, tension, when we say that there's a tension in this kind of a particular item or piece, it means that there are two opposing forces or elements that are pulling it from two sides, and somehow it's maintaining a balance. So he applies the same metaphor to poetry, and he says tension is the very heart of poetry. It is a controlled dramatic or dynamic quality, so it gives momentum to a poem. It also adds drama, and it kind of gives that dramatic feel and semblance to a poem, and it is tension that which makes a poem so interesting, right? So he feels that tension is necessary for a work to be considered whole or complete. Now, where does he get this idea of tension from? He actually gets it from the discipline of logic, where you have two phrases. One is extension and one is intention. So, extension would mean literal meaning, the surface meaning, right? And intention would mean the implied meaning or the symbolic meaning or the metaphorical meaning. So, what Allen Tate does is he very conveniently drops the prefixes in and ex, and he just retains the word tension, and he uses it to refer to a mutually dependent relationship between these different kinds of meaning. So he says there's a constant conflict between the surface meaning and the underlying meaning, but it is necessary for a good poem. So it is the very lifeblood of good poetry. So, though the existence of both kinds of meanings creates a constant conflict, right? They are both necessary, because it is this conflict or tension that gives poetry its meaning.